ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। I welcome all devotees for today evening Krishna book reading session. We are reading from Krishna book by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Summary on 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 52, entitled Krishna The Ranchora. So yesterday we have covered the first part of this chapter. Now we will continue from the last part. Yesterday we read about how Krishna and Balram, they escaped from the attack of Jarasandha, came back to city of Dvarika, and after that, Balramji married Revati, daughter of King Revat, ruler of Anarta province. तो पहले बलराम जी की शादी हुई रेवती से। बलराम जी had two wives. One is रेवती and second is वारुणी। तो बलराम जी की शादी होती है और इसका वर्णन 9th कैंटो में दिया गया है, प्रभुपाद जी बता रहे हैं। और आज हम लोग पढ़ेंगे कृष्णाज मैरिज विथ रुक्मणी। रुक्मणी इज फ्रॉम विदर्भ, अमरावती। आई मीन इन नियर अमरावती देर इज अ प्लेस कॉल्ड कौंडन्यपुर। सो रुक्मणी इज फ्रॉम दैट प्लेस एंड इसलिए उनका एक नाम क्या है, वैदर्भी। सो तो अभी जो आगे आगे का पास्ट टाइम है, नेक्स्ट 1 2 3 चैप्टर्स, दे टॉक अबाउट रुक्मणी मंगलम, Krishna's marriage with Rukmini Devi, and she is the first queen of Dvarika, Lord Krishna, and she is Mahalakshmi, and all others are Lakshmijis. So Mahalakshmi is the source of all Lakshmi, and Radharani is the source of Mahalakshmi. तो उसके बारे में हम लोग आज से पढ़ेंगे. So I will read first two paragraphs, and then Saurabh Kale Prabhu can read, and then Rishikesh Prabhu can read. According to Vedic convention, there are 8 kinds of marriages. In the first class marriage system, the parents of the bride and bridegroom arrange the marriage date. Then, in royal style, the bridegroom goes to the house of the bride, and in the presence of brahmanas, priests, and relatives, the bride is given in charity to bridegroom, Kanyadan. Besides this, there are other systems such as Gandharva and Rakshas marriages. Krishna married Rukmani according to Rakshas system, kidnapping her in the presence of his many rivals like Shishupal, Jarasandha, and Shalva. While Rukmani was being given in charity to Shishupal, Krishna snatched her from the marriage arena, exactly as Garuda snatched a part of nectar from the demigods. Rukmani, the only daughter of King Bhishmak, was exquisitely beautiful. She was known as Ruchiranana, which means one who has a beautiful face expanded like a lotus flower. Prabhupada is mentioning here about 8 kinds of marriages. सबसे पहले प्रभुपाद बता रहे हैं about arranged marriage. In arranged marriage, what happens? The parents of the bride and bridegroom, लड़का और लड़की के माता पिता आपस में बच्चों के कुंडली मिलाते हैं, उनकी शादी तय करते हैं और धूमधाम से उनकी शादी होती है. दिस इज द फर्स्ट क्लास बेस्ट बेस्ट टाइप ऑफ मैरिज, अरेंज मैरिज. सेकंड क्लास इज लव मैरिज. उसको हिंदी में क्या बोला गया है? गंधर्व विवाह. उसके लिए गौर गोपाल प्रभु जी का एक स्टेटमेंट है, लव एट फर्स्ट साइट, डाइवोर्स एट फर्स्ट फाइट. पहली पहली नजर में प्यार हो जाता है और पहले झगड़े में तलाक हो जाता है। तलाक तलाक तलाक। सो दिस इज सेकंड क्लास, गंधर्व विवाह। थर्ड क्लास इज राक्षस विवाह। उसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे बिहार और नॉर्थ इंडिया में ये सब चीजें प्रचलित है, आप लोगों को काफी सुनने मिलेगा कि उसमें जो लड़का होता है वो क्या करेगा, अगर उसके गर्लफ्रेंड के परिवार वाले मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं है तो उसको किडनैप करके लेके जाता है। वो उसको उठा के भगा के लेके जाता है। तो कभी कभार लड़का लड़की के साथ भाग जाती है या लड़की लड़के के साथ भाग जाता है। सो दिस इज राक्षस विवाह। तो तो Prabhupada is telling here Krishna married Rukmini according to Rakshas system, kidnapping her in the presence of his all his enemies, Shishupal, Jarasandha, Shalva, etc. 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 और फिर उसमें स्वयंवर होता है, वो भी एक टाइप का विवाह है कि द गर्ल इज अलाउड टू चूज हर ओन ब्राइड। वो अपना वर चुन सकती है। स्वयंवर, वर मीन्स हस्बैंड, स्वयं मतलब सेल्फ, वो खुद से अपना हस्बैंड चूज कर सकती है, स्वयंवर। So, so like that, there are many marriages, but topmost is arranged marriage. और इंडिया में आज भी गौराम प्रभु बताते हैं 80% मैरिजेस आर अरेंज्ड मैरिजेस। डिस्पाइट बॉलीवुड, हॉलीवुड, टॉलीवुड उसका इन्फ्लुएंस होने के बावजूद 80% मैरिजेस हैपन्स अरेंज मैरिज। और जो लव मैरिज है उसमें डाइवोर्स का रेट बहुत ज्यादा है कंपेयर टू अरेंज मैरिज। द चांसेस ऑफ ब्रेक डाउन इन लव मैरिजेस आर वेरी हाई। Okay, we'll go ahead. I will read one more paragraph, then Saurabh Kale Prabhu can read, and then Rishikesh can read. Devotees of Krishna are always eager to hear about transcendental activities of the Lord. His activities of fighting, kidnapping, and running away from the battlefield are all transcendental, being on the absolute platform. And devotees take a transcendental interest in hearing of them. The pure devotee does not make distinction that some activities of Lord should be heard and others avoided. There is, however, a class of so-called devotees known as Prakrit Sahajiyas, who are very interested in hearing about Krishna's Ras Leela with the gopis, but not about his fighting with his enemies. They do not know that his bellicose activities and his friendly activities with gopis are equally transcendental. Being on the absolute platform. All the transcendental pastimes of Krishna described in Srimad Bhagavatam are released by pure devotees through submissive oral reception. They do not reject even a drop. So Prabhupada is talking about Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas means those who take Krishna consciousness very cheaply. हर चीज को वो लोग हल्के में लेते हैं, lightly लेते हैं. So Prabhupada is telling Sahajiyas, they will consider Ras Leela very important. On Krishna's fighting with demons, उस पार्ट को वो लोग skip कर देते हैं, and they will directly jump on Krishna's dancing with the gopis because they are Sahajiyas, Prakrit Sahajiyas, materialistic, sentimental fools. So, but जो actual devotees है, they will equally relish the pastimes of Krishna running away from battlefield as much as Krishna's loving affairs with the gopis. They don't discriminate because both the pastimes are on absolute platform. So we should hear with submissive oral reception, sar. Then only we can relish every drop of Srimad Bhagavatam like pure devotees. Okay. Yes, Saurabh Kale Prabhu, can you go ahead? I will just go on mute.
The story of Krishna's marriage with Rukmiṇī is described as follows. The king of Vidarbha, Maharaj Bhishmaka, was very qualified and devoted. He had five sons and only one daughter. The first son was known as Rukmi, the second Rukmarta, the third Rukmabahu, the fourth Rukmakesha, and fifth Rukmamali. The brothers had one younger sister, Rukmini. She was beautiful and chaste and was meant to be married to Lord Krishna. Many saintly persons and sages like Narad Muni used to visit the palace king Bhishmaka. Naturally, Rukmini had a chance to talk with them, and in this way, she obtained information about Krishna. She was informed about the six opulences of Krishna, and simply by hearing about him, she desired to surrender herself to his lotus feet and become his wife. Krishna had also heard of Rukmini. She was a reservoir of all transcendental qualities, intelligence, auspicious. physical features, liberal mindedness, executive beauty, and righteous behavior. Krishna, therefore, decided that she was fit to be his wife. All of the relatives of King Bhishmaka decided that Rukmini should be given in marriage to Shishupal, and a determined enemy of Krishna. When the black-eyed, beautiful Rukmini heard of the settlement, she immediately became very morose. However, being king's daughter, she understood political diplomacy and decided that there was no use in the simply being morose. Some steps should be taken immediately. After some deliberation, she decided to send a message to Krishna, and so that she might not be deceived, she selected a qualified brāhmaṇa as her messenger. Such a qualified brāhmaṇa is always truthful and is devotee of Vishnu. Without delay, she sent the brāhmaṇa to Dvārakā.
Thank you. So here Prabhupada is giving the background, like in Vidarbha, I mentioned in the beginning, Kondanipur. I also belong to that same place. Akola and Kondanipur are very near. So King Bhishmak had six children, five sons and one daughter. And the daughter's name was Rukmiṇī. And the eldest of all the brothers was Rukmi. All father, mother, all the brothers, and including Rukmani also, they wanted to marry Krishna. But Rukmi, he wanted Rukmini to marry Shishupal. And when Rukmini understood that there is no chance here that my marriage can happen with Krishna naturally, then what she did, she took help of one Brahmana and requested him to deliver her message to Lord Shri Krishna in Dwarika. बहुत प्रभुपाद ने ब्रीफ में बताया है, इसके ऊपर बहुत सारे लेक्चर्स है. I was hearing one lecture by Radhesham Prabhu. Radhesham Prabhuji says these five brothers of Rukmini, they represent five senses, and he says that five senses, right? Eyes, nose, ear, उस तरह से. And so, and this Rukmi is always trying to separate Rukmini from Krishna. So like that, he was making comparison. Exactly, I'm not able to remember. If you go to Radhesham Prabhu's channel and search this lecture on Rukmini Mangalam, so you will get it. Prabhuji has explained very nicely. He has taken from Acharya's commentary and explained how these five sons and one daughter, they represent the living entities and the five senses. So like that, and the Brahmana, who is the Brahmana? This Brahmana represents the Guru. When the Guru, when we take shelter of Guru, and Guru request to Krishna on our behalf, then Krishna will come and steal our heart. And then we will be completely freed from the influence of the mind and senses. So at this point we have to understand there is a very, very important role of Guru in our life. So here it's mentioned that as soon as she understood, without delay, Rukmini sent the Brahmana to Dwarika. Okay. So I'm not able to give more details because राधेश्याम प्रभु का lecture available है YouTube पे. So all of you can go and search this pastime. Very good lectures. I heard many years ago. If I get the link, I will share it definitely. Thank you. Saurabh Prabhu, you can read one more paragraph.
Yes. Reaching the gate of Dwarka, the Brahman informed the doorkeeper of his arrival, and the doorkeeper led him to the place where Krishna was sitting on a golden throne. Since the Brahmana had the opportunity to be Rukmini's messenger, he was fortunate enough to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the original cause of all causes. A Brahmana is the spiritual teacher of all the social divisions. Lord Sri Krishna, in order to teach everyone the Vedic etiquette of how to respect a Brahmana, immediately got up and offered him his throne. When the Brahmana was seated on the golden throne, Lord Sri Krishna began to worship him exactly as the demigod worshipped Krishna. In this way, he taught everyone that worshipping his devotee is more valuable than worshipping him.
Thank you. So Krishna is known as Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. As soon as Krishna saw the Brahmana coming in, he got up from his throne, made the Brahmana sit on his golden throne, and worshipped the Brahmana. In this way, Krishna taught everyone that worshipping his devotees is more valuable than worshipping him. महाराज का भी एक लेक्चर में महाराज बोलते हैं that love me, love my devotees. If you say Krishna, I am your devotees, Krishna will reject us. Krishna will not accept us. But when we say Krishna, I am the devotee of the devotees of your devotees, then Krishna will definitely accept us. So that's how we can become dear to Krishna, when we give more value to his devotees than worshipping and valuing Krishna. Krishna loves his devotees respected and valued more than him. Okay. Rishikesh Prabhu, can you read next two paragraphs?
In due time the Brahmana took his bath, accepted his meals, and lay down to rest on the bedstead, completely bedecked with soft silk. As he was resting, Lord Krishna silently approached and with great respect put the Brahmana's leg on his lap and began to massage them. In this way Krishna appeared before the Brahmana and said, "My dear Brahmana, I hope that you are executing the religious principle without difficulty, and that your mind is always peaceful. Different classes of people in the social system are engaged in various professions, and when one inquires as to the well-being of a particular so person he should do so on the basis of that person occupation. Therefore, when one inquires as to the welfare of a Brahmana, the question should be word, worded according to his condition of life so as not to disturb him. A peaceful mind is the basis for becoming truthful, clean, equipped, poised, self-controlled, and tolerant. Thus, by attain, attaining knowledge and knowing its practical application in life, one become convinced about the absolute truth. The Brahmana knew Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and still he accepted the respectful service of the Lord on the grounds of Vedic social convention. Lord Krishna was playing just like a human being because he belonged to the Kshatriya division of the social system and was a young boy. It was his duty to show respect to such a Brahmana.
Yes. So Brahmana means his mind is always peaceful because he has these qualities of truthfulness, cleanliness, equipoised, सेल्फ कंट्रोल एंड टॉलरेंट. गीता में बहुत सारे श्लोक आते हैं. विद्या विनय संपन्ने ब्राह्मणी गविहस्तिने शुनि चैव स्वपाके च पंडिता समदर्शिनः. Who is a real pandit? Who is a real brahmana? Who can, who is well learned and who sees no difference between animal and human. He sees everyone with on the platform of soul, equipoised, self-control, shantir, arjavam, evacha. Krishna gives so many qualities of brahmana, who is a real Vaishnava. So he's telling here that by attaining knowledge and knowing its practical application, one becomes convinced of the absolute truth. And he was a bona fide brahmana जो कृष्ण भगवान को संदेश देने आए थे. And he accepted the service out of respect on the grounds of Vedic convention. And because Krishna was playing like human being, and he also belonged to Kshatriya division, which is lower than the Brahmana, he offered his respect to the Brahmana. Okay. Um, Rishikesh Prabhu, you can read one more paragraph.
Lord Krishna continued, O best of all Brahmanas, you should always remain satisfied, for if a Brahmana is always self-satisfied, he will not deviate from his prescribed duties, and simply by sticking to one's prescribed duties, everyone, especially a Brahmana, can attain the highest perfection of all desires. Even if a person is opulent as the king of heaven, Indra, if he is not satisfied, inevitably has a transmigrate from one planet to another. Such a person can never be happy under the circumstances, but if one's mind is satisfied, even if he is bereft of all possessions, he can be happy living anywhere.
Yes, thank you. So about satisfaction, Krishna is telling that one should be santushtyam yena kenava, somehow or other, be satisfied and focus on your duties, prime duties of life. Okay. Now let me see who else has joined. Sahil Prabhu, Aditya Prabhu, and Prashant Prabhu are there. Okay. So Sahil Prabhu, you can read next two paragraphs, and then Aditya Prabhu can read.
Okay. Yeah. This instruction by Krishna to the Brahmana is very significant. The purport is that a true Brahmana should not be disturbed in any situation. In this modern age, Kali Yuga, the so-called Brahmanas have accepted the abominable position of Shudras or less and still want to pass as qualified Brahmanas. Actually, a qualified Brahmana always sticks to his own duties and never accepts those of a Shudra or of one less than a Shudra. It is advised in the authorized scriptures that a Brahmana may, under awkward circumstances, accept the profession of a Kshatriya or even a Vaishya, but never is he to accept the profession of a Shudra. Lord Krishna declared that a Brahmana will never be disturbed by any adverse conditions if he scrup- scrupulously sticks to his religious principles. In conclusion, Lord Sri Krishna said, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, for the Brahmanas are always self satisfied and the Vaishnavas are always engaged in actual welfare activities for human society. They are the best friends of the people in general. They are free from false egoism and are always in a peaceful condition of mind.
So Prabhupada is telling here, Brahmanas are always self-satisfied, santushtya yena kenava, and Vaishnavas are always engaged in actual welfare activities. So yesterday also, if you remember, we read this line, same line, the last chapter, end paragraph. Prabhupada says, what is the actual real welfare activity? The real greatest welfare activity is preaching Krishna consciousness and distributing Prabhupada books is our topmost welfare activity for the whole human society. कंबल बांटना, भूखे को खाना खिलाना, कपड़े देना, कुएं खोदना, these are all on material platform. But on the platform of soul, जो आत्मा को संतुष्ट करता है वो क्या है? कृष्ण कथा and कृष्ण नाम. Nagar Sankirtan means the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga is Sankirtan. So Sankirtan means chanting of the holy names and distributing the holy names in the form of holy literatures and holy devotees. So this is the greatest welfare activity, which is preaching and book distribution in simple terms. और प्रभुपा जी बता रहे कि they are the best friends of the people in general. Why? They are free from false ego and they are always in a peaceful condition of mind. वो मिथ्या अहंकार से मुक्त है और हमेशा दे आर ऑलवेज इन पीसफुल स्टेट ऑफ माइंड. उनका मन हमेशा शांत रहता है, प्रशांत रहता है. यस, कैन यू रीड वन मोर पैराग्राफ?
Yes, Lord. Lord Krishna then desired to know about the rulers, Kshatriyas, in the Brahmanas' kingdom. So he inquired whether the citizens of the kingdom were all happy. A king's qualification is judged by the temperament of the people in the kingdom. If they are happy, in all respects, it is to be understood that the king is honest and is executing his duties rightly. Krishna said that the king in whose kingdom the citizens are happy is very dear to him. Of course, Krishna could understand that the Brahmana had come with a confidential message. Therefore, he said, if you have any objection, I give you liberty to speak about your mission.
If you have no objection.
Yes,
So
you have no.
because if we just change one word by mistake, so the whole meaning changes. So just just a small correction. So now Brahmana will start speaking. Krishna has spoken everything about glorification of Brahmana, and he had also asked the Brahmana to share the message. So now he is asking that please speak about your mission. why have you come to Dvāraka? So now Brahmana will start speaking. Okay. Aditya Prabhu, you can read next two paragraphs and then Prashant Prabhu can read.
Thus, being very much satisfied by these transcendental pastimes with the Lord, the Brahmana narrated the whole story of his mission in coming to Śrī Krishna. He got out the letter Rukmiṇī had written to Krishna and said, "These are the words of Princess Rukmiṇī, my dear Krishna, O infallible and most beautiful one. Any human being who happens to hear about your transcendental form and pastimes immediately absorbs through his ears your name, fame, and qualities. Thus all his material pangs out subside, and he fixes your form in his heart. Through such transcendental love for you, he always sees you within himself, and by this process, all his desires are fulfilled. Similarly, I have heard of your transcendental qualities. I may be shameless in ex- expressing myself directly, but you have captivated me and taken my heart. You may doubt my steadiness of character, but since how could an unmarried young girl like me approach you without any shame? But my dear Mukunda, you are the supreme lion among human beings, the supreme person among persons. Any girl, though not yet having left her home, or even any woman of her highest chastity, would desire to marry you, being captivated by your unprecedented character, knowledge, opulence, and position. I know that you are the husband of the goddess of fortune and are very kind towards your devotees. Therefore, I have decided to become your eternal maidservant. My lord, I dedicate my life and soul unto your lotus feet. I have selected your lordship as my husband, and I therefore request you to accept me as your wife. You are the supreme powerful, O lotus eyed one. Now I belong to you. If that which is enjoyable for the lion to eat is taken away by the jackal, it will be ludicrous affair. Therefore, I request you to immediately take care of me before I am taken away by Shishupala and other princes like him. My dear Lord, in my previous life I may have done public welfare work like digging wells and planting trees or pious activities such as performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices and serving superiors like the spiritual master, Brahmana, and Vaishnavas. By these activities, perhaps I have pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. If this be so, then I wish that you, Lord Krishna, the brother of Lord Balarama, please come here and catch hold of my hand so that I shall not be touched by Shishupal and his company.
This is the first love letter in the history of mankind, which is written by Rukmini Devi to Lord Shri Krishna. And first love marriage is Krishna's marrying Rukmini Devi. तो उसको हिंदी में इन्होंने गंधर्व विवाह बोला है. उसी का इंग्लिश वर्जन एज पर कलयुगा लिंगो is love marriage. So you can see the pure love, not lusty love which is there in material world. The pure love is what we are reading in the letter of Rukmini Devi. Yes, can you read one more paragraph?
Rukmini's marriage with Shishupal was already settled. Therefore, she suggested that Krishna kidnap her so that this might be changed. This sort of marriage, in which the girl is kidnapped by force, is known as Rakshasa and is practiced among Kshatriyas, or men with an administrative martial spirit. Because her marriage was already arranged to take place the next day, Rukmini suggested that Krishna come there incognito to kidnap her and then fight with Shishupala and his allies like the king of Magadha. Knowing that no one could conquer Krishna, who would certainly emerge victorious, she addressed him as Ajita, the unconquerable lord.
Yes, thank you. Krishna is Ajita, who cannot be conquered by anyone else except his devotees. Okay, chapter is going to end now. Only two paragraphs are remaining. So Prashant Prabhu, you can read. And who else have joined? Vansh Prabhu has joined. So you can read one paragraph and Vansh Prabhu can read last two paragraphs.
Hare Krishna. Rukmani told Krishna not to be concerned that the fighting would take place within the palace and that many of her family members, including other women, might thus be wounded or even killed. As the king of the country think of diplomatic ways to achieve his object. Rukmani, being daughter of a king, was diplomatic in suggesting how this unnecessary and undesirable killing would be avoided. She explained that it was the custom to her father to visit the temple of goddess Durga, their family deity, before a marriage. The kings were mostly staunch Vaishnavas, worshipping Lord Vishnu in either the Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayan form, still for their material welfare. They used to worship goddess Durga. They never made the mistake, however, to accepting the demigods as a supreme lord on the level of Vishnu Tattva, as do some intelligent men. To avoid the unnecessary killing of her relatives, Rukmani suggested that it would be easiest for him to kidnap her while she was either going for the palace to the temple or else returning home.
Yes, do some less intelligent men. So please, while reading, less intelligent, less is more important. Less intelligent men. And this is staunch Vaishnavas who are very kattar, very strict about their practices. Okay. Time come hai, so once Prabhu, you can read last paragraph and then this chapter will end. Will end with this paragraph.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I'm audible.
Yes, go ahead.
She also explained to Krishna why she was anxious to marry him, even though her marriage was to take place with Shishupal, who was also qualified being the son of a great king. Rukmani said that she did not think anyone was greater than Krishna, not even Lord Shiva, who is known as Mahadev, the greatest of all demigods. Lord Shiva also seeks the pleasure of Lord Krishna in order to deliver from his entanglement in the quality of ignorance within the material world. Although Lord Shiva is the greatest of all great souls, Mahatmas, he keeps on his head the purifying water of the Ganges, which emanates from a hole in this material universe made by the soul of Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva is in charge of the material qualities of ignorance, and to keep himself in a transcendental position, he also meditates on Lord Vishnu, O Krishna, and always try to purify himself with the great of water of Ganges. Therefore, Rukmani knew very well that obtaining the favor of Krishna was not easy, since even Lord Shiva must purify himself for this purpose. Surely it would be difficult for Rukmani, who was only the daughter of a Kshatriya king. Thus, she desired to dedicate her life to observing several austerities and penance, such as fasting and going without bodily comfort. If it were not possible in this lifetime to gain Krishna's favor by these activities, she was prepared to die from such austerities and to undergo similar difficulties lifetime after lifetime. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that pure devotee of the Lord executes devotional service with great determination. Such determination as exhibited by Rukmani Devi is the only price